The lights of the packed auditorium dimmed, and the soft hum of anticipation swept through the crowd. People leaned forward in their seats, eager to hear from the guest of honor, Senator John Kennedy, a man known not only for his sharp wit and unapologetic truth-telling but also for the humanity he carried into every interaction. Yet no one in that room could have predicted what was about to happen when his eyes fell upon Ellen, a woman whose life was quietly unraveling behind a mask of polite smiles. Ellen sat in the third row, arms folded tightly against her chest as if she were holding herself together. For months, she had been battling a storm of loss and regret. Her husband had passed away suddenly, leaving her alone in a home filled with echoes, and her grown children lived far away, too caught up in their own lives to recognize the depth of her pain. She came to the event not out of political interest, but because her neighbor had insisted. "Come on, Ellen," the neighbor had said, "you need to get out of the house." Reluctantly, she had agreed, thinking it would be just another speech, another forgettable night. She couldn't have been more wrong. As Kennedy spoke, his voice carried not just policy points, but pieces of wisdom woven with humor and heart. He spoke about struggle, resilience, and faith in times when the road seemed impossibly dark. Ellen found herself listening in spite of herself, her heart strangely stirred by his words. At one point, Kennedy paused, looked toward her row, and for reasons Ellen couldn't explain, his eyes seemed to land directly on her. She quickly looked down, embarrassed, but something in his gaze felt personal, like he could see past the surface straight into her fractured spirit. When the event ended, the crowd rose to their feet in thunderous applause. Kennedy stepped down from the stage, shaking hands, greeting people warmly. But then, instead of heading straight for the exit, he walked deliberately toward Ellen. The room seemed to grow quieter as he stopped in front of her, reached into his coat pocket, and pulled out a small, well-worn Bible. He held it out to her with steady hands. "Ma'am," he said softly, "I don't know why, but I feel the Lord telling me you need this tonight." Ellen froze. Her eyes welled up with tears as she accepted the Bible, fingers trembling against its leather cover. For years, it had sat on her late husband's nightstand, but after his death, she couldn't bear to open one. She had boxed it away, convinced faith had abandoned her when she needed it most. Now here it was again, returned to her, not in her own Bible, but in one that came unexpectedly from the hands of a man she barely knew. The audience watched in silence, their earlier claps forgotten. Ellen pressed the book to her chest and whispered, "Thank you, you have no idea what this means." Kennedy gave her a gentle nod, as if to say he didn't need to understand, he just needed to obey the call to act. Then, without